for mayor. Now we move to deputy mayor. And first up is Ian Chadwick.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting all of us here this afternoon.
Must feel like that.
Well, I know, it looked a bit like night. It's the fall. I was on council for 3 consecutive terms, and on one of those terms I was part of the Affordable Housing Task Force. So one of the things I want to talk to you today about is affordable housing. You had a question in there. First of all, it's not just affordable housing, it's housing in general that's a problem. And housing is a regional issue. It's not just about Collingwood. It affects all of the communities around here. As John said, the county is responsible for what we call social housing or assisted housing. The development that's going up here on High and First Street. The county provides the money and they do the work, they get the contractors. But it's up to the towns, up to the representatives, that's the mayor and the deputy mayor, to be the advocates at the county to get the money and to get the projects going here. And that requires support from council too. So you have to have a collaborative council that's working on it. But because it's a regional issue, I think we really have to bring back the Affordable Housing Task Force and involve the rest of the community. Involve all the regions, the communities around us, bring them in and ask them what they're doing too. There are other things you can do aside from just building, and John mentioned a couple, but one of them is incentives for rent geared to income housing. That's usually a rental property in a market rent property that has lower rent geared to the income of the people who are coming in. Collingwood did that actually. When I was on the Affordable Housing Task Force, we did that. We provided 2 units on a property on High Street. But we can get more. And it's an incentive for people to build. That's the other thing too. You have to get developers to build housing. You have to get them to build rental housing that people can afford. And that's a little tough because we have to provide incentives. Right now the profit for developers, and they're all about profit, that's not a bad thing, but that's what they're here for. The profits in doing single-family dwellings, we have to give them incentives. Allowing second apartments, granny flats, that kind of thing, does help, but it's not the only solution. It's too complicated to cover all in 3 minutes, but I'm going to try to get a couple of other things. The biggest thing is we need a strong, united voice at the county. If we have all the region working together, we're going to be able to at least get the county to move forward in providing more funding and more opportunities for the area. There's a lot of seniors in this community who are living on fixed incomes. For them, affordable housing is what's happened to the taxes. One of the big things we have to do is make sure we keep the taxes low. I don't think anybody can realistically promise never to raise taxes, but we have to keep them low because that really affects low-income earners and seniors on fixed incomes.
Sorry. I'm a bad guy, I know.
Thank you.
Question?
Yes.
Yeah, hi. Quick question on renters. We've had some issues in this complex over the years with people renting units, causing problems in the complex, and then not being able to remove them because it would appear that the laws and so on that govern all this stuff seem to be favoring to some extent the renters and not the property owner themselves. So is there anything going on to provide some kind of balance there? Like, do you see that as an issue? Because I've seen examples here where we've had some serious problems here, and it seemed like the laws were swayed in favor of the renter as opposed to the owner.
Tough question, partly because it's not the jurisdiction of the municipality. The municipality is really limited. Those are provincial laws. And I know a couple of landlords in town who have had exactly the same problem, trying to get people to move out. They've had damage, they've had things stolen, that kind of thing. You really have to go to the police, you have to go to the courts. Unfortunately, the municipality can't do very much. Now, the question was brought up about Airbnb. We can that in terms of short-term rentals. But once a person's in for a long-term rent, the jurisdiction falls to the province. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah.
Which we did.
The second candidate for deputy mayor is Keith Hull.
For me, this is actually a bit of a homecoming, and I enjoy coming out here because in December of '96, I in fact was a renter here within the community, and that's how I was introduced to Collingwood. The fact, the gentleman who I subletted with, I believe maybe about 5 years ago, he and his wife, after moving back to the Kitchener-Waterloo area, in fact, purchased a weekend property up here, and their 2 young children and themselves enjoy the community very much. And as a result, it's given me sort of an experience, not only starting out as a renter within this community, but then owning a couple of condominiums, both at Cranberry, for investment and for as a residential home. I think I have a unique perspective in terms of what condominium owners are facing within the town of Collingwood and within the region as a whole. And I'm sort of segueing into question number 1 as it relates to the diversity within our community. First of all, the diversity within the community is what makes us strong. And in fact, as a local politician, what excites me about being a representative for you, both locally at the table here as well as at the county, is that very diversity. I wouldn't want to be the deputy mayor of a community that was homogeneous. I want a community that's diverse. I want a community that brings different backgrounds, cultures, expertise, income levels, because those are strengths that we can all draw upon, and when they work together, they work extremely well. That said, they do present challenges, and affordability of housing is certainly a challenge. There is no question that as weekenders continue to migrate north and enjoy what we have to offer here, housing as it relates to recreational properties is continuing to rise. As a direct result of those increased prices, you see pricing of homes across the area rise as well. And that presents real challenges for those who are working maybe in our service economy, which is probably our largest industry as a whole, as well as other industries that are starting sort of at a minimum level to a lower income level range. And therefore, we've got to be very cognizant that as we continue to work with all of the diversity within the community, that we build on the strengths so that we are encouraging those who want to be here on a weekend basis, enjoying the recreational amenities, that they have that opportunity. The opportunities that are created by, say, your being here through the employment of those who are working within our hospitality industry are looked after by the creation of, say, affordable housing or municipal transit between, say, our community and Wasaga Beach, our community and Blue Mountain, so that those, again, working within those industries, have affordable transportation, affordable means to be able to live and work and play here. So the diversity is what makes us strong as a community. The things that I think bring us all together, that we will continue to work toward in the next council, are our waterfront, and I'll leave it at that. So thank you. I could go on.
Keith, what can you tell us about the houses and properties all around the hospital that are boarded up, have been there for a number of years, and are an eyesore, and the only one in the whole community that has this problem?
Okay. Mr. Bascom, that's a good question. It's a tough question because there are some technical aspects that, to be quite honest, I may not have correct. But I'll give you a prime example. And it relates to previous councils, and I'm going back 3 councils where there were a number of zoning issues that were sort of cleaned up. And the one, and I will reference specifically by name, is Dr. Harrison. I don't know if many of you know Dr. Harrison, but he's a denturist. And he actually had a business, I believe it was at the corner of Peel and Moberly, and has since relocated out to 124 in Ottawa to a new location. When I say recently, within the last decade. And unfortunately, that was a result of some planning and some cleaning up of zoning, and it has left that particular building dormant over a period of time. How we go about addressing that, I think, will sort of take shape over the next couple of years when a decision is made to that, specific to the hospital, because as a result of where the hospital will go, that will then change, I think, the zoning within that particular community, and you'll see different uses take.
We're electing 7 councillors, and first up is Deb Doherty.